And live from France. This is exciting. The first time I do a Facebook Live together with somebody else. And today's amazing special person I'm doing it with is Mr. Joachim. So I'm going to see how this works out really well, because I'm excited. So let's see how this works. I'm like, I have never done it. It's happening. And the topic is, are you committing to your life? And personally, for me, it's one of those topics that definitely creates a lot of energy. It shows me very clearly where I am when I ask. It also lets me know where I'm not.
Ta-da! It's working!
This is exciting!
It works!
It worked! I was like, oh, it's the first time we do it.
Almost.
You never know. I was like,
exactly.
Oh God, people are jumping on all the time. And I was just telling Sagan, the topic, are you committing to your life? And I was like, this is exciting. It's a question that always makes me, like, there's so much energy every time I ask that question. I always get excited. What is really possible with this question? And I'm so happy exploring this with you. Especially because we have created such a different class in Spain this year. It feels like last year, but soon last year, where that topic was a lot up in the air. So it's so fun to see all the people jumping on. How are you, Joe?
Yeah.
Who are you in the world?
I'm great. I just had my awesome wife gave me a glass of wine.
That's
I probably
perfect.
needed it.
And don't tell me it's French or something like that.
It is. I'm afraid it is. No, but it's so cool. This topic, it really made me made me start thinking about, like, how do I commit to my life or not commit, and other people, like clients that I work with. And it's so cool because I think you can apply this in like I wrote on Facebook, any area of your life. You can see whether you're committing to your life or not. So since I work as a personal trainer, as you know.
Yes.
But in that area, it's so clear, like whether you commit changing your body or creating the body you want, or working with health or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it's so much happened in my world when I ponder on that question during the last 5 days.
I totally agree. I remember one of the first times Gary asked me directly, I think that was 2.5 years ago. I still remember in Copenhagen because it was such a topic in that class. And when I was asking questions, when he asked me personally that question, I was like, when I truly looked at me being committed to my life, it was very low, the number. I don't remember what it was, 20, 30% or something, because it looks that I'm very engaged and all that, but I really didn't understand what commitment truly meant when I committed to my life. And one of the things that got really clear in my way of being with myself is that there's several things. One, I don't check out for what I'm choosing, whatever I choose. I'm present with it. Then there was this energy of, you don't delay, you don't let go of it, you don't dismiss it, you don't. And I was like, that's so interesting. It's so easy to think you're committed and then you wait for things, or you blah, blah, blah. You have thousands of small excuses. And I'm like, oh, all these excuses are like we use when we're not committed. I'm like, this is not good.
Well, it's so funny because I meet a lot of people that go, well, I tried, or
Yes.
I'm trying, and that's like, I was on a show with I don't know if you know the guy Tony Robbins.
Yes.
And he was he's a big change guru.
Yes,
And
I've done his. I'm educated in NLP.
okay. Well, there you go. But the cool thing was that he was totally pushing this lady to move on and to admit that you either perceive doing something or you don't. And she was stuck in. She was like, "Well, I've been trying," and he's like, "Well, try to lift the chair." And she lifted it up, and he was like, "No, no, no, that was lifting. You actually did it, but you should try lift the chair." And she couldn't figure out what he meant, because that's the energy of trying. It's sort of doing it, but you're not actually totally committed.
Yeah.
So
you're not choosing to do it either.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not doing it 100%. You either give it a shot, like honest shot, and it's okay not to succeed straight away, but then you hop on.
Let's see. I froze a little bit. You never know whose internet is it. Is it mine or is it? Oh, you get.
Just had a phone call.
Yes, I know. You're more committed to your phone. No, I'm just joking. They take over.
You keep on trying. That's my whole point. So yeah. So if you don't succeed straight away, you get back on the horse and you keep on trying until you get the result that you wish for, I guess. So for me, that's totally committing to your life. That's being honest with and not trying. You commit to it and you stay with it.
Yeah. Yes.
Or
and
you change.
One thing I remember when Gary was talking, that was so different from me, when he was talking like about your body. If you're committed to whatever you want to create with your body, and he said you're always taking care of it. You would never override it. You would never be abusive towards it. You would just interact. You would be committing to creating something with it. It was so beautiful how he expressed the energy of where you would never override it, for example. And I was like, I'm committing to my body and whatever I want to create with it, I would never override it. I'm like, oh, that creates a very different energy. And I was also looking at all my areas, like wherever am I doing different things where I think I'm committed, but I might not be. And am I willing to ask the question to get the awareness?
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes you decide to do something or I don't know, start training. It's so easy to go there, and then you're like committing totally or trying a new diet or whatever, but then you start to get like no signals or it doesn't feel right for you.
So what's the difference, Joachim, when you say like that energy, like, when people think that's commitment, I'm going for the diet, I'm going to lose weight. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's kind of a really good example.
Yeah, because that's like deciding, not asking questions. It's like you decide something and then you just you stick with that, and then you decide and you override everything. You stop asking questions and you just override your knowledge. Your knowledge, and that's, it's one thing to commit to something and really, really stay with that, but it's one thing that you shouldn't really, my point of view, you shouldn't really stop asking questions. You still need to recheck or readjust and then go and still ask questions. Am I doing the right thing now, or am I just being like stupid? Because I meet a lot of people that they've been like, I ask them, like, okay, how long have you been doing this? And they're like, well, good 2 years now. Well, does it feel light? Is it fun for you and your body? And they go, no. So what? So why do you keep doing it? It's because I decided to. I'm like, okay, so you can't change. Who's responsible for this? And yeah.
There's a question. What is the difference between deciding and committing? That is a really good question. I think you already bring it.
Yeah. That's basically what I it's not a lot of, it's not a really big difference, but committing is, for me at least, being like following. It's more like following the energy. Like you have a big goal, but it's not this like in. It's more like you aim for something. I wanna accomplish health.
Yeah.
But with that, you can't just stick with this diet or whatever. I mean, you got to be able to change your goals. You got to be, yeah,
I've
flexible.
noticed also when people decide, there's usually point of view they decide is right or wrong.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
they decide something is wrong, they'll go with what they said right. And as you said before, they don't usually ask a question. It doesn't change along the way. That's what
No.
basically I learned a lot in NLP that I at some point couldn't work with anymore. It's the way they put a goal and they find the quickest or more efficient way to get there.
Yeah.
And it often killed something. I got really bored with it because it didn't change along the way. And some people got really happy because then they reached the goal. So we're all different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you
I think
gotta.
your headset is disturbing a little bit the noise. I don't know if you can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Good.
Maybe,
Good
I
point.
don't know. But the decision is often very solid. That's what I see.
Exactly. I was gonna say that the decision is it's rock solid. You decide and you stick with it no matter what. It's like marriage. I mean.
Yes, you have to stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a different energy to it.
But look at that. It's a great example because if you're committed to being married or you decide that you're married, it's a decision to be married, or you're committing to a relationship that's called marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I mean, relationship is such a nice topic with this, but because it's committing to your relationship. I mean, for me, that's actually why I'm married, because I wanted to. I discovered that I hadn't really been committed in relationship. I sort of had a relationship, but and sort of, well, I can do this. So with that energy, that's not really committing. It's trying to do relationship. It's not really committing. So and it wasn't very nice to discover that was actually my way of doing relationships. So I decided and committed that I'm going to change this. So I closed all the back doors because I had plenty of back doors open for some reason. And it wasn't very comfy to look at that, but I did, and then I committed to my relationship for the first time, I guess, and I mean, it completely blew my mind. I was I was totally against marriage, and it just felt so heavy. But after actually committing to this relationship by marrying Hannah, that was like so much space. It wasn't at all what I expected.
That's
so,
cool. That's really awesome.
Totally. Yeah, the whole relationship changed. Yeah.
One of the things I've seen difference for me, commitment, when I start really going in for it, is creation. When I create something, where I have a lot of clients where I understand that they're doing it very different. Because if I choose to create something, I get really committed to it. And one thing that I don't use against myself is if there's change in it. So if something doesn't work out great, or somebody gets upset, or it's not light, there is problems along the way, or whatever that is, for me, it's always something you can change, work with, and I'm still committed. We can commit to change it or not create it, but it would be from a different energy than, oh, it's not light, let's not do it, or I don't feel that this is working. And then basically the back doors of creation. I've never really understood them in creation, because I was like, you always have them. They're always there. We're like when you interact with people, there's always moments that it doesn't feel like maybe you have to change something or go to a different direction or ask more questions.
Yeah. I mean, that's so spot on with what this is, because committing is not like when something not very comfy pops up, then you stay with that. Commit is to also it's also having the willingness to change and to look at things that like, okay, so this doesn't feel light. Okay, so can I change it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, okay, so this relationship doesn't feel light. Okay, see ya. You're gonna end up not having relationship because relationship is sometimes it's, or maybe most of the time it can be hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging.
Especially if you're present doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. I mean, that takes a lot of energy. So yeah, so it's key. To commit is to keep on asking questions and to stay with whatever pops up, and actually dealing with it. That's committing.
Yes.
No.
It never stops. It's so funny. Oh, sorry, I'm moving around now. It's so funny because you move around with me. I'm like, oh no, that's me.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's the wine.
I can just move you as much as you want, Joachim. Yesterday evening, the Bowman Stephen Chissa had an online class 2 hours, and one of the topics was committing. And I was like, this is good. And they were also like asking each other that question. They do it constantly to see when it works and doesn't work, or whether they're using a point of view, or they are stopping themselves. And one thing was really interesting. They asked if you're willing to acknowledge, like own that you're a gift. If you're willing to never stop creating, if you're willing to see how potent you are. So they brought it into different energies. And I'm like, good questions here. If you only looked at, are you willing to see that you're a gift? I was like, yeah, I wouldn't say 100%. And and I really liked looking at that, because if we all would function from that we are a gift on the planet, how would we be interacting? How would we be with each other? How would we create? I think we would be doing things very different.
Yeah, for me that's being present with, again, like being present with, and having the willingness to be present with anything. It's just and not making your awareness stop you. Don't use it against you. Like, okay, you meet this person that's really mad or really unpolite or whatever. Okay, so wow, that was interesting. And don't let that get to you, sort of. Okay, that was weird. So, but keep on walking. Like, don't, like someone say that writes here, never give up. I mean, totally. But I'd like to add, and never stop asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Because it's and someone wrote if something with deciding is short term and committing is long term. I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean, you.
I'm not sure about that.
No. Oh. Well, I'm thinking like you decide something, and then it's in your commitment that you have a decision about something, but you keep on asking questions because you don't know. You might have to change your decision.
But I don't see them either long or short term. A commitment doesn't necessarily have to be. I see when you're committed to something, you constantly have to you have to make choices. You ask questions, you make choices along the way. A decision would be something that doesn't change, and that's where I'm like, I'm not sure you're totally committed if you're always going for decision.
Mm.
It's more like I think it's a pretense of commitment when you're deciding, and you
Yeah,
don't really have to be present with a decision.
no, no. Well, personally, I wouldn't even use the word decision, because it's like in Sweden we say it's written in stone.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a universal
yeah, I think
metaphor,
so.
but for me that's the sort of energy with a decision. It's you don't change that. So yeah, I would definitely go with something else. But yeah,
You can be
it just
committed to a short-term thing too, so I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
time is necessarily in it. We're talking about
No.
marriage and things like that. I mean, I get that as a long-term, usually, or at least what we hope, but it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be. You guys can be married for 2 years and you're committed to that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, you could be, yeah, as you said, you're at least you're committed to those 2 years, and then committed to changing or whatever.
exactly. I
Yeah.
remember being in Ireland where, marriage is such a very, very, very big thing, very significant. Everybody has to
Hmm.
be married kind of thing. And then this guy was there in the class and he said, it takes like 4 years to get a divorce. He said, what if we every second year would sit down and look at our marriage and be honest and see if we want to continue or not? And
Yeah.
also look, hey, what I want to bring into this marriage, what would I like to change in this marriage? And I'm like, that would be exceptionally great, because then you're
Yeah.
creating marriage, and
Exactly.
not we're married, dot.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's really. I have a friend that does that actually.
Wow,
They
it's
sit
really
down
cool.
every year and make a new contract, a verbal contract though. But still, I mean, they drink wine, they have a good dinner, and and they go for another year.
Hmm.
But it's I mean, it's a pretty cool idea.
It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's very honoring of people. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm looking also, like, how honoring are we when we don't commit to our lives and we don't commit to what we're choosing. So if
Mm.
you do a choice of something, are you committed to that choice, or are you trying to find how to get rid of your choice, or find
Mm.
what's right and wrong with your choice?
Yeah, exactly. And are you justifying why you are not willing to change and truly commit? So it's yeah, I mean, since we came up with the idea of committing to your life, I mean, for obvious reasons, I've been thinking a lot about this question, and it hasn't just been a fun ride, because I can totally see, and now I can hear myself like, so is this committing or bailing out or using your excuses not to commit? And it's like, oh fuck. Not very nice, but it's so. I mean, I'm so glad for the
Mhm.
question, because it's true. I mean, I use a lot of, and I'm sure I'm the only one that does, but I use a lot of in some cases I use a lot of excuses to justify why I haven't changed, and it's just that doesn't make sense. It's like it's not helping me.
No, I know. I mean, it's very common. It's what we learn as well, and
Yeah, it is
justify
so
something.
fast.
I know it's
It's
really
like
weird.
the answer pops out of your mouth before you even know. It's like, wow, really? Is that why I'm not doing this? Like, oh, cool. It's like you didn't even know.
It would be interesting if we looked at ourselves and we would see, like, if you would notice the excuses we use, because we all have them. I mean,
Mm,
that's for sure. And we would look at, hey, I'm going to write down all my excuses I use every day for, let's say, if we did that for a week, and
yeah.
then the coming week we wouldn't be allowed to use them.
uh, wow, that was scary. Yeah,
Should
but
I
that
use
was a
them the
really good
last day a
idea.
lot so I can?
Yeah. That's a really good idea.
No, it's looking at me because I'm like, okay, the things I fool myself with. So I have, for example, just a little thing. I have to send some invoices, and I was like, I'll do tomorrow. Oh, it's not a rush. It's end of the year. Blah 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 blah. And they're like,
Hmm.
what? What is that? it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's nothing I have to do today. It's nothing somebody's hunting me to do, but I see that I don't choose to do it. And I was like, that's just not great. And
No.
I don't have to judge myself. I don't do it. I don't have to make myself wrong. And I'm kind of like, oh, that's okay. And I also choose, but I don't choose to do it. So that's when I'm like, okay, what is in that? So if I was 100% committed to this, whatever creation it is or my business, I wouldn't be putting it on the next day if I could do it today.
Exactly.
And I was like, what would happen if I was willing to do everything that I could do today? But I wasn't judging if I do it tomorrow, but I was also looking if I'm postponing it because I'm bored or I have any fun excuse. One of my beautiful excuses that I'm not allowed to use anymore.
Yeah. And also like if you have this thing that you just keep on not doing, I'll do it tomorrow. And the next day you go, I'll do it in 2 weeks. I got plenty of time then. And then when you finally do it, you're like, why didn't I do this before? It was so easy. I've been pushing this forward for what reason? I mean, it was super easy.
And you know the energy just... that how you perceive yourself when you do it. It feels for me personally when I do something that is kind of like it's time to do and I do it. It's almost like I get a rush of fun energies. Oh, here's more to do. Here's more possible, or I get some awareness. I could do something, a better system, or blah blah blah. It's so much fun, but the delaying is no fun at all.
No.
Because I keep on having that in my energy. I'm like, what? That's not really kind. Okay, wow. Oh, here's so a good question of Dagmara.
Can you say something about being committed to money, please? Well, it's basically the same things that we've been talking about for me. But yeah.
I agree, Joachim. So if you look at any area of life, let's say, well, the example I did not writing the invoice and delaying it tomorrow. So is that basically, could that be creating less money in my life or more money in my life?
Yeah, exactly.
And what do I do with possibilities showing up with money? Do I create or grab them today, or do I say bye-bye, let's do it later? So what is the choices you have with money that you're not choosing? And if you were so Dagmar, if you ask yourself, if you were committing to money, if you ask like that, what would you choose today? If you were committing to your life, what would you choose today? Money is part of your life, but it's interesting to see, like I could definitely say, where I had the turning point where I was where I started having money in my life. I was allowing it to be there. I wasn't trying to look away. I wasn't trying to avoid it. I was like, all my back doors to money, I would say I had quite a few of them a couple of years ago. And when I started closing them, it became so present, money in my life, that and the funny part was there was so much of it. And I was like, this is uncomfortable because now I have to choose today. Now.
Yeah, I'm reading what Tanya. Yeah, that was so good because it's also like
choose commitment and still have choice. Everywhere we're precluded or decided there is no choice left in a commitment, and that is final to start in our life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, I think that's why, at least me, why I keep on, like the example that we just gave, that you keep on, you say, now I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that next day, because it's like, because you got to stay present, and with a commitment, you don't. I mean, it's in your face until you do it. Like So
I remember doing some exercising. Like these are just like things to look at for me where all this question about commitment, and I was just asking every day, what would it take to commit to my life today? What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be 100% committed to my life? And I kept just asking questions, and then I just kept playing with things. So one thing I played with myself, and I don't mean sexually, I played with, okay.
Why not? That's a good commitment.
Always committing to pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little sidetracked now, but I like that commitment too. Was that anytime something popped up, like to do, to be, to choose, I did it. Like I just did it. So anytime a person popped up, I called them, like if that was a thought, and I did not, and I remember not waiting for anything. And the speed that occurred in my life by doing that was off the records. Off the records. So I'm like, oh, so how much of this, when I do commit, am I stopping everything?
Yeah, and how much is that costing energy?
Yeah.
Like instead of just doing it, because it's like when you just do and do and do, then I don't know if that's true for you, but for me that it actually gives you energy. It's like when you start. It's like the metaphor. You can't eat the elephant with one chew. You got to cut it, and you got to eat it in small pieces. But once you start, it's like, or yeah. So it's like, yeah, you got to start somewhere, and the thing about commitment is actually starting, not like, oh, well, tomorrow is a good day for quitting smoking or whatever. It's like, no, I mean, how about today?
Yeah.
And if you do it today, it's you gain energy from actually changing straight away and not pushing it forward.
Yeah.
And then it's like you said, you can keep on doing stuff. So yeah.
I get that also. We're talking a lot about the doing part, and it's not necessarily only doing committing. If you're committing to your life, it's also really you're being present with your being everything you can be. So it starts basically there, but you will see it a lot in the actions you do. That's where I see them most in my life, is where something is a choice to be in that moment, where I'm like, oh, it's easier to look away. So how often do we look away where we could be? I love when some people say nothing's happening, or I don't know what to do, or this is a big problem. And often when I ask them questions, it's very often not willing to be 100% present with what it is, because then it often just goes, it just happens a lot with it.
Yeah, and it's so funny because the amount of energy that is costing you to push things forward all the time is not even close to the energy that it takes to actually choose to do it, or just So it's not logical in any way.
We're not the smartest people on the earth.
No. Word, that's so true. We're pretty stupid sometimes, but we're cute.
Yeah, that's the thing about being cute. But like, what if? Yeah, no, that's the fun part where I see like, okay, but people have also not learned to be 100% present with their lives, because it's quite intense to be present with your life. And a lot of people like checking out because they feel more relaxed when they check out. Where it can be totally different. What if you were willing to be relaxed, being present in your life? And it is, I can say it's quite intense being present in my life, because there's so much information every second. I do like it because there's so much I can choose. I was sitting down today with the hotel owners where I am at the moment, looking at possibilities with them, because they have this amazing place, and they have a venue, they're out in nature. It's like, oh, this is also delicious. I love our Spanish place, but this one is really, and here's a top chef, Michelin star chef. He's like, it's so good. And there were a couple of points of views what didn't work, and where one of the persons were not as happy. And I was like, okay, that doesn't create as much. And that's where they're checking out from possibilities. But having a conversation about being present with what is already changed the energies of what's possible. And I'm like, and there was nothing right or wrong that we were talking about. It's just like, oh, if you're not happy with what you're doing, because he isn't challenged enough here. And he wasn't adding more things. And he was like, I need to do something different. I was like, yeah. Because he has the most gorgeous place. If you come here, you feel nurtured, you take care of. You would never expect so good food here, for example. And I feel like a queen. I'm here. Like, I'm like, this is awesome. And this is out of nowhere land. It's just like those things. I'm like, I could see. I really love choosing great things for me and my body when I'm driving, and that's something I'm really committed, taking care of myself. And it's fun because when I see what things I really like having in my life, and I don't want to, I'll choose something cheaper. I'll save, or I'll drive more so I have less stays at night and have less cost. Like, no. I'll choose what creates for me, where I am happier, where I'm joyful, and I can see how different my life has become when I choose that as my living. It's been very different, and I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for the people I meet. I was like, wow, the connections.
Yeah, it's just I love what you're saying, because it's I get a lot of metaphors in my head, because it's like the Swedish way wouldn't be to go with pleasure. It's like you can't have that much pleasure. You should. It was so funny because I read the newspapers yesterday, and this English woman had bought, like, I don't know, Christmas presents for a good 20 or 30,000.
Wow.
And people were. She was like, well, I buy Christmas present all year, so it's not a biggie. It's not like I go out and I do shopping for a good 20,000. But people were so upset with this. It's like that you can't give these kids this many presents. It's so not good, and blah 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 blah. You should go give this money to people that really need it, and blah blah blah. It's like, come on. How about having some fun? Like, really commit to your own life and let her, like, commit to hers. It's so weird.
She seems committed because she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, totally. She was committing to, and that was like that was exactly what she was like. Seriously, doesn't people have anything else to, like, read or dip their noses in? Come on.
Lagom,
yeah,
not too much, not too little. Yes.
Yeah, lagom.
Yes.
Look that word up.
That word is, it's one of they one word that, like, in radio in Sweden, one of the last days I was there, they were like, which word would you stryka, what's that in English, erase from your vocabulary in your language? And I'm like, lagom. That was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an average, and I was like, yeah, I don't fit in with lagom. I've pretended sometimes, but it doesn't really work so well. But it's interesting. So, back to your fun part. So, if everybody here would ask, what would it take for me to be committed to my life? What would it take for me to be committed to having fun? What would happen in your world if you were if you're constantly asking the questions? Because if you don't try to define commitment, we give example, but this doesn't mean that this is the end version of it, or this is how it is, because commitment can look very different for everybody. But giving a sense of, like, if you have a backdoor, excuses, they're the main contrary of commitment usually. But what if you started exploring it for you, to see what it is for you?
Yeah, and exactly, and like, ask the question, like, because there will be moments where you sort of stop, and then you go, okay, not comfortable, and you don't know how to move on, or you forget. That's where you ask, like, okay, so is this, if I would choose to not do this or to do this, would that be committing to my life or bailing out of my life? It's a simple question. You can ask it all the time. And that, I wish it wasn't that way, but I think that most of the time people actually not commit to their lives. I wish it I see that. I mean, there's moments in my life that I could totally commit more,
Yeah, I
and
get
I
that.
will be doing that. But it's like it's easier to see other people, like because I meet a lot of people and I help them to change. So this. And
Yes, you
sometimes it's
do.
so easy, and I guess you do too. But sometimes it's so close. It's like, man, it's right in front of you. Come on, just one more step, or even one step. It's just, please,
It's
yeah.
so,
But
it's so funny when we talk about this because I mean we have facilitated a class together and that was in Spain in summer. And one thing that when we're talking about this, I really reflect on the change that people chose and the commitment they have in their life. Because I didn't reflect that it was their committing, but what we looked at was being present, vulnerable, not having barriers up, basically not using the excuses we're used to and not using the reactions we're used to. And that was one of the red thread during the whole class, and looking every day present at what is. And I was like, what now I've seen with them now is how present they are in all their choices, how committed they are in living. And I was like,
yeah, I'm
I'm
amazed.
yeah, me too.
And also the allowance to well, I don't like to use the word fail, but stop. It's like so that it's
Not
the
being
allowance
perfect.
for yeah, exactly, that was a better one. Not being perfect, but getting back on the horse again.
Yeah.
It's like, and sometimes literally
Literally, yeah, literally,
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 that's a hard word
literally.
to say. Yeah. When you've been drinking wine, literally. Anyway.
I haven't got there. I'm still doing weird stuff with my mouth.
I'm doing wine and a lussebulle.
Oh,
That's a good combo.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know that the chef here is Danish? So,
Oh.
yeah, it's so funny
Nice.
to be here.
It's
So
yeah.
connected, and the whole world is connected to each other. But yeah,
That's nice. Yeah, but allowance is a really important ingredient. Like you got to give yourself the allowance to sometimes fail or not being perfect. But then ask the question again, like and see, is there something you need to add or yeah?
well, it's
Do
so
you need
funny
to
to say
change
about
it or?
destroying the comfortable distance with commitment. What I see is when I'm committed 100%, there's no distance, there's 100% present. There is everything in that moment. So that's when I see I'm absolutely having no comfortable distance to anything, is when I'm committed. Because then I allow everything to be there. And that also means things that are not perfect. But I'm willing to move forward all the time with everything. And I see a lot where people use, and I include myself, we use an excuse for not to do something because we're not great at it. I was doing a film today, so this hotel, both of them, they rescue animals. I was like, really? I know they rescued 3 dogs because they had rescue dogs when I was here in summer, but they have 4 donkeys, 1 goat, 1 pony, 1 horse, and another dog they rescued recently in here. And all animals except for 3 horses are rescue animals. And in Sweden, I have a great friend that just created a new organization, Dharma Aid, for rescuing animals. She has 2 beautiful parrots. She has 4 dogs, 3 or 4 dogs. I don't know how many. She brings in rescue dogs from Romania. And then I meet her, and she said she just applied to have an organization of rescuing animals. I'm like, this theme about rescuing is so in my life. And it's funny because I get to connect the dots with people that are doing. And the fun part here, she has so much space for them. And she was like, I'm not going to rescue a particular animal. I can rescue any animal. I can take care and help of any animal. I'm like, and I don't need to find new homes. And I'm like, this is very different. But if somebody would like, yes, that will be acceptable. But her was like, I don't need to go out and find a home. I was like, she's committed to that, including that in her business. And I'm like, do people know? So I made a little video with her today, and she got really nervous. And I said to her, it doesn't matter if it's great or not. We're just doing one. If it's really not great, we won't use it. Okay. Okay. He's like, God, in French.
Yeah,
It's so funny. And I was like, yes, and we'll just start. And if you can't know what to say, just talk to the animals. We're around the donkeys. Just talk to them. And she started talking. I just asked her one or two questions, but she talked and talked. It was the most natural thing I've seen from. Like, this is really, really good conversation. And she was so good in front of the camera. But when I took away her thing, it has to be great, she got so relaxed. And I'm like,
yeah.
What would happen if we did that in our lives and looked at the way wherever we put on, like, it has to be great before I do it. It has to be perfect before I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, usually that put your barriers up. Like it's you building up all these. It's like instead of just asking questions and then or start somewhere, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be that hard as you thought. Like, but. Yeah.
But that's what I've seen, for example, people that train with you, what I've heard from them is like basically they get somebody that is committed with them, so they get to see what that means for them. They get a support and an energy that doesn't judge them.
No. Yeah, and like I'd say 90% of the time people have this idea or truth about working out or training or losing weight, that it's going to be hard work. Well, yeah, sure. But if you think that, then of course it's like you wish will come true. It's going to be hard work, but it can be super easy and super fun too. I mean, it's your choice. It's just, and I mean, I like to have fun, so of course I'll add that flavor. So. Yeah, that's a good point, because it's all my clients. I think, and at least they say that. I mean, we laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun, and we do workout.
Oops, that works together. Oh my God, are you gonna like?
Yeah, that's a wicked combo. But it's once you've done the commitment, it's like you have no idea. You can get help from anywhere to add joy or yeah, it's like all you have to do is make the choice,
but that's
and then the rest will follow.
Also, like, if the person knows they're struggling with it or it's not easy, they add something to create it, and that's what I've seen. They add you, so they are more willing to choose something, and I think that's a great choice. It's a great commitment to changing your life. You don't have to do everything on your own. It doesn't mean you're a greater person if you can. I'm gonna do it on my own. You know the syndrome. I do it on my own. I can do it myself.
Yeah, I mean that will probably be hard stuff, hardcore, because they might lack the knowledge or the tools. And I mean, I have the tools. Why not use me? It's like all you have to do is pay.
All you got to do is choose him. Payment is a part.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Interesting. I was talking again to the hotel today, or the owners, and I was looking at different things that could be added, and of course you go to the money thing, and I said, but what if money was never never an issue, and there are people that would love to contribute, or they would come in exchange, or what if that is not the issue truly behind it, for choosing it? So I was like, there's always possibilities, and I gave them a couple examples, and she was like, oh yeah, there's always possibility. Because if, for example, for them it's hard to go on a vacation or travel because they have so many animals here. They have a staff for the hotel and the restaurant and all that, and they could shut it down too, like they want a week off, but they still have quite a few animals. And she said to me, it's hard to find people to take care of them. And I was like, what if it was easy?
Exactly.
It was easy. And she's like, but I'm like, you just need to ask me. I might know a lot of people. And she's like, So it's very interesting if you are, I call it like the possibility land, or you're in your limitation land, or whatever that is. Because you'll see two different worlds. So, and then when I see how I commit to my life, everything's possible.
Well, that's when you have the I call it having glasses on. Like the impossible glasses or the possible glasses. And like it, depending on which glasses you have on, you'll experience the world in that way.
Yes.
And it's that's actually one of the one of your strengths, is that I think you're asking a lot of questions and you see possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And
I get really
yeah,
happy.
I really like that with you. But
yeah, you're really happy because there are so many.
yeah, I mean, there's. I'd like to think that life is full of possibilities, or so this, all you got to do is put the glasses on and ask questions. Like, but it's so funny because sometimes it's just a question away, like it's so close, it's far away. But if you have the impossible glasses on, then you won't see the question, and then you show up and, well, have you considered this? It's like, no. Wow, that would totally change everything. And
And it was funny because they have so many possibilities. And I was like, hey, but you should have leadership trainings here. Or you could, because she did one thing where she added horse training to being with a horse to one event here. And everybody was super excited that she did, like, communicating with a horse and just being with a horse and seeing, like, if your energy doesn't match, the horse won't move. So it's a little bit what we do in Conscious Horse Country Rider. She just does it in her way. And she's like, it was amazing how it changed things. I'm like, what if you put that out on your website that you offer that? And even you can ask for, you can even, because she has a great venue, but they're not saying to businesses what they could do here. And I said, you could even offer leadership trainings. And if people want that, but I don't know anybody, you could call me. And if I can't do it, I don't know how many colleagues I have that could. So there's no problem. I could fly in, or I could just pick somebody or ask all my colleagues. And she's like, you could? I'm like, yes. This is the easiest for me. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, she got so many ideas that she could write down, because on the website it's not very clear. She's a venue. Yes, great. And she's trying to market that. But you could flip her out the market and say, hey, this is also what we're offering. So it was so fun just to tweak where there's possibilities. When you have, I mean, I don't own a venue. I don't own a restaurant, but I have many around the world that I could use. They have one. They just have to flip it around. How many people do they know that could offer things here if somebody desires it? And I was like, we connect. We can create anything. And in my head, I always hear Stephen Bowman. So if you have a problem or you have a point of view that something is a problem, he always asks, but what if it wasn't so? What would you choose? And I was like, that is constantly going on in my head every time I, like, blah, 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 blah. I find some excuse or some, when I'm not in possibility land, then I'm like, this would be interesting if I asked that question. I would not be stuck anymore. And I wouldn't have the same thing.
Yeah, because it's so interesting, because when you're in stuckness, you don't ask questions. All you have is conclusions.
Yes.
It's conclusions why you're not doing this or that, and or why you're not succeeding, or what's holding you back, or it's not a lot of questions in that. It's just, like I said, conclusions. But so then, like, if you can't figure a question out to ask, then just call a friend or listen or me.
Yeah, Tommy.
Yeah, but I mean, a good friend will give you a question. Like, have you considered this?
Yes. Oh, I'm so sure. I've had friends that tell me, I don't call you when I don't want to change. And I was like,
yeah, that's good.
I will tolerate some conversations that are not fun, or I will be there for friends. But at some point, if we're all on the same path all the time and we're not going anywhere, but if somebody tells, I just need to talk to you, I'm fine with that. If somebody says it's not possible, I'm like, don't call me. Don't do that.
That's committing to not changing.
I'm not the best person if you want to have that as your truth.
No, but that's a good thing, though.
But this is also what I ask my clients. Are you interested in changing, or do you desire it or not? And asking that often to people that haven't done a lot of personal work, they get a little bit offended. They even get a little reactive sometimes. Hey, Katarina. Because I'm basically insulting them with saying that they might not want to change. Of course I want to change. I'm like, no, I really would like to hear you say if you do want to change. Because that is the first step of committing to the change. And I was like, it's really interesting when I do ask that.
And that's totally that's pissing people off because it's you're probably right. Like, I mean, I adore my wife. I love her, but I mean, she's a pain in the ass sometimes. When I'm like, this person told me this and that, and she's like, well, she was right. I'm like, really? What?
Can't you be on my side for 10 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? You're my wife. And then I'm like getting really grumpy and walk away, and I'm like, what if she was right? What would that look like? And then I'm start asking questions. It's that easy. And then you go, oh, awareness, bing, bing, bing.
You're committed to change, Joachim.
Yeah, by marrying my wife.
Well, if you weren't committed, you wouldn't marry her, right?
Exactly. I'm pretty smart.
And then Steven says the same about being. It's not the easiest to be married to Chitissa.
No, I can imagine.
Point it out.
Yeah, but that's a good partner to choose for life.
I agree.
I know she would. If I'm not right, or if I'm like on the dark side of life, or not, like, okay, this is not committing. This is just like being a fuck up, and not being willing to see that or admit that.
Yeah.
And then she will tell me, like, no, you're wrong, or yeah, you're right, or yeah.
But the beauty is, like, when you have a person that has your back and doesn't judge you, but will also tell you or call out on your shit. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Definitely not comfortable.
No.
But oh my God, it changes your life. And it's very kind in some way as well. And
it is.
If you don't like it, you react too much, and they're like, okay, next time I won't say the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But that's committing to the relationship, and that's committing to being honest and true with me, because she knows that I appreciate it, because I tell her. Yeah. I'm like, please don't change. She's so awesome when you tell me to fuck off, or or put my shit in my face. I love it.
Oh, you're adorable when I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's
totally
priceless.
But I look at the same energy when you have a relationship and you choose that. I love it myself too, exactly that. And then I always ask, okay, am I willing to have the same relationship or commitment with myself? Am I willing to be that person asking the uncomfortable questions? Am I willing to be raw, honest to myself? And am I willing to see where I'm reacting? Because usually it's a really great sign, like an energy. It's showing you. If you react, I think you're spot on, that it's your something. And like, if I'm just honest, I get the information. If I don't want to be honest, I won't listen to you. I was like, we're funny. We're funny, but we can create so much change if we were honest. I always say raw honesty with myself. You don't have to tell anybody else if you're not there yet. But if you're truly willing to be it with yourself, you will see a different world. And it's very kind to yourself to be it. It's maybe not pleasurable every day, but it's definitely, it's a kindness.
And I think like one important ingredient, again, would be allowance, and not to make yourself wrong for like, if someone points out that you're doing something crazy, or not asking questions, or I don't know what, like I mean, that is that's going to be one of the big things that I'll be working with this year, that 2018. I'm gonna, because it's so easy to go into self-judgment for not choosing this or that, or I did choose that, and that was completely out of order, or I don't know.
Yeah.
To have the allowance and not judge myself for making decisions that's not very good for me, or yeah, and to have the willingness and the power to ask questions when needed, and then have the allowance if I don't.
No, that's beautiful.
Thanks. I just made it up. No, but it's true. It's so easy to judge yourself. I do that
Oh,
all the time. But it's not helpful. It's not being kind to you.
no. No, it's not. It's not. And when we chose this topic, or this topic came up, and we said, yeah, let's go for this. It's been interesting in my world also to look at, because there's a lot of possibilities, what I can choose, what businesses. There's a lot of businesses showing up that I could be creating as well. And today with the conversation, I was like, I have gazillion of possibilities in front of me. It's time to choose. And the commitment process, like, I'm going to give myself really a couple of days and just look at every area of those different, there's so many ideas coming up and people approaching me. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot. And all of them can be great. And number one, would it be fun? And then, and I'm willing to create it and not control it. There's 1-2 businesses where I'm not as much required. It's more like I can provide it, and then a couple people together can work with it. But I'll provide some of the means and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to put in a certain amount of energy there to create that, and create that because it would be like 3-4 people working with it. And I'm like, and I do have to be committed to it. Otherwise, I can see part of my energy is required to move it forward. And I'm like, oh, wow. I would be also committing to creating with other people and creating greater for their lives. And I was like, oh, that's a very different energy. And I was looking at many, like almost like satellite businesses I would like to have that I haven't been willing to have, and where I have excuses. And I'm like, oh, the paperwork of that. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, what if that was easy? What would I choose? Like, it's just been very interesting in my world to look. Hi, Evie. Hi. You're one of those amazing creators, committed. But it's intriguing for me personally to keep on being in question of it and really looking where I want to commit. Because I also seen some where people are asking me, for example, to facilitate certain classes in certain countries. I have also been delaying answering them. And I'm like, I'm not committing to them at all. I'm not committing to my choice. There's I don't know if I can even say this. There's so many. So what if I choose? And I was like, okay, Lisa, sit down and just start choosing. Where is it truly fun? Because it's so funny when one starts asking, there's a couple more asking, and then I'm like, and I saw myself, I had a tendency to please them, and I was like, oh no, I'm putting the energy in a wrong way, because I'm just happy facilitating. So then I'm like, okay, I have to change this around a little bit, because it won't be the greatest we can choose if I'm trying to please anybody. But it's been very interesting. So I was like, I love that we're having the topic. I love that I'm really putting it down a couple of days just to look at, okay, what do I desire for 2018? And I am moving part of me to Spain. And now I'm like, I got some really intriguing questions about Portugal today. And always when I'm on the move, there's new possibilities showing up. So Portugal is coming up. And I was like, but I wanted to be in Spain. I have to look into this possibility too. So this is where I'm like, how many homes did I want to have? And I have committed to a horse in my life. So like, that doesn't mean I have to be there 100%, but okay, what does that look in my life to have that? So it's been really like, yes, it's fun.
A lot of possibilities.
And it's tricky. Yeah. So I love that you're looking at 2018. I was like, I think this is what a lot of people do at this moment. Last week, well, a little bit last week we have soon.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a good time now to when you finish this year and there's a new one coming up. And yeah, it's a good time to look at your life and see what areas of your life are you
And don't
honestly.
change from what you don't like. See what you would like to add.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's
Totally.
so easy. You know, the New
That's a
Year's
good point.
resolutions often come from some judgment what you're not doing great. What if you just wipe that out and like, okay, what would be fun to add here? Because other things that usually disappear when you start choosing something else or something new. And I also see a lot of people already tapping into that. They have to, and they have to be more successful next year, and they have to do a better job. And so be aware, judgment time is increasing now. With Christmas and New Year, judgment increases, and you might perceive it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. I think I'll go down and have some dinner now in this French beautiful restaurant.
Ooh la la, good choice.
With a French wine, of course.
Oh, I think you should commit to drinking wine.
Yes, it's definitely a commitment I have with wine in France every evening.
Nice.
No, it's delicious and I like it, but I'm happy everybody was, like, a lot of people were on, and if you have more questions, just feel free to connect with us. And I just do wonder what would happen if we started asking a little bit more questions about commitment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let that be the question for 2008. Are you committed to your life? Yeah. And if not, what areas would you like to be committed to in your life?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joaquin.
Thank you so much, people.
Always a pleasure with you.
Likewise. I totally enjoyed it. It was so much fun.
We will let you know when we're on again. We'll pick another topic, or if you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about. Otherwise, we'll pick one that is intriguing for us, that is moving us, because that's what we like doing. Also, we're part of what we're creating, and we're part of everything. So we'll bring in where we are, because we like change. At least we are committed to change.
Might not be comfy all the time, but
thank you, Dagmara.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, hi, Renska. Hi, Dagmara. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye, people. Take care. Merry Christmas and